what we are looking for is basically more information to understand how we will handle the situation, what should we do, and how to cope with that one so that we can enjoy life. So in general, when we're looking at anxiety or depression, we find these are the conditions which some technical issues here. Okay, that's good thing. So basically, this is a very common condition which we are finding nowadays. Series of medical illness and negatively affects basically people have difficulty handling the daily situation, have difficulty doing their daily task, and depending on if someone is depressed or anxious, both will affect the body. The person is not able to again handle the situation. Even day-to-day tasks become difficult, and it's very common condition, probably one of the most common or diagnosed mental disease. Affects 264 million people of all ages suffer from basically depression globally. Depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide, and more women are affected by depression than men. But the main thing is it's treatable. But one thing is we're finding in many cultures, it is not even considered as a disease. Basically, I know many Asians will consider that this is not a condition or disease. It is a basically per child is if a child is diagnosed by a physician as depressed or anxious, or they will call basically is lazy or she's lazy. It's just not a considered as a medical condition. And that becomes very difficult for the child or a teenager to go through the situation where family is not there with them to support them during this journey. The depression types, we know there are many. Persistent depressive disorder, at least for 2 years. Perinatal depression during pregnancy and after childbirth, a very common condition because the body goes through so many changes, and not only physiological changes, but also make a lot of emotional changes for the mother. So it's a very common thing. Psychotic depression, depression plus psychosis, and seasonal affective disorder. There are many individuals when the weather is not bright, when the sun is not out. We know that the sun affects us. So in general, we are all solar powered, but there are many individuals who get affected more than others. So when the sun is not out, when there's a dull day outside, are clouds, they will feel depressed. Bipolar disorder, depression plus mania, that is also very common. So it doesn't matter what the condition is and how you are diagnosed. Main condition is we need to see how our brain is processing the information and how we can treat it. So looking at the healthy synapse where basically the neurotransmitter or the junction meet, and then the unhealthy in the depression cases, what happens. So areas of the brain affected by depression, they are mentioned here. Basically, which is telling us that the amygdala, the thalamus, and the hippocampus are the main places. Neuron communication is affected, and also the importance of circadian rhythm is there. So circadian rhythm actually becomes abnormal. In that case, our brain is not coordinating with how the environment works, and that is where we become basically off track with the rhythm, circadian rhythm of the nature. Depression out of sync of the body clock. So basically, when the body clock is totally out of the sync with the nature and the nature itself, then that's where it happened. Again, she see in this diagram what happened. The central, basically the circadian profile, social circadian profile. So depression happens when the circadian rhythm is disturbed completely, and when that happens, we had to bring it back. Most of the individuals will feel that because of environment. Many will feel that because of the stress in their life. Many will feel that after a sickness, and many will feel that because they were taking certain medications. So even though medications are there for helping to help us, but again, many of them have side effect, which will just completely bring them off the track of their daily rhythm. Depression symptoms: persistent, sad, person feels all the time worthlessness, anxious or empty mood, hopelessness or pessimism, feeling of helplessness, worthlessness, and guilt, decreased energy or fatigue, loss of interest or pleasure, moving or talking slowly, feeling restless, thought of death or suicide when it comes to extreme, appetite and weight change. Of course, many will gain weight and many basically will have no appetite. Depends on how the individual is. Some people keep eating and eating because this becomes kind of a sportive thing for them. Difficulty sleeping or waking, and again, there are individuals who basically sleep for 13, 14 hours and still wake up tired. Even after 14 hours of sleep, they just want to be just sleep all the time. Aches or pains, digestive issues, headaches, cramps without any cause. So many symptoms come. Again, these are not just limited to these symptoms. Many people will just feel so strange symptom all of a sudden. They just feel like life is worth nothing. Again, like I said before, there are so many reasons for this one, but mainly what you're finding, even though nobody knows the cause, what Ayurveda says that the cause is the vata imbalance. When the vata is going out of balance inside the body or it's not moving at all, that's where the depression come, because of the non-movement of vata, or because of the stagnant vata. When it becomes too fast, then we call them anxiety is going so fast. So anxiety is totally basically opposite what we consider in Ayurveda of what is depression. It's an emotional characterized by feelings of tension, worried thoughts, physical changes like increased blood pressure, and also disorders of anxiety are most common mental illness in the US. We know that, affecting 40 million adults in the US age 18 and older, or 18.1% of population every year. So basically anxiety is becoming a very common thing, especially at this time of COVID. I am seeing many patients who are anxious just because they have to stay home. Many are worried about losing their job. Many are worried about how much they can perform at home, and many are just worried for nothing, because even though they have the job and they're working, just being home, people are not used to stay home for that long. I mean, a couple of weeks are good, like a vacation. Month is good break, but then we have many months staying at home and working from home. It doesn't seem like you're going to work, and so many people are anxious just because of that. Anxiety disorders are highly treatable, yet only 36.9% of those suffer receive treatment. So many of the individuals will not even go to a doctor because they do not even know what this is. Many will go there, and then when they take the treatment, the medicine, the side effect, other things basically worries them. And many think that if they are taking a medication, then they will have to take it forever. And just the fear of that will keep them away from taking the treatment, which they should take, because again, living a life which is not productive or in a fear is not a normal life. The types of anxiety: panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, where you don't want to be when going to a gathering or a friend's home and you don't want to meet people. And there are phobias of different reasons, and generalized anxiety disorder, which we see very common. So it doesn't matter what type it is, but again, anxiety, you feel that you are not fitting in this society. You don't want to meet people, don't want to talk, and basically all the time you have some kind of fear, and that's not what we need to have a normal, healthy life. The exact cause of anxiety disorder is unknown. We know that. But anxiety disorders are like other forms of mental illness, are not the result of personal weakness, a character flaw, or poor upbringing. So nothing that. There's nothing to do with sometimes the home environment or what happens as a child. As research continues, it is becoming clear that many of these disorders are caused by a combination of factors, including changes in the brain or environmental stress. Environmental factors which do play a big role, basically the heavy metals, mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, and also again, these are all neurotoxins. and parasite systemic, they have been found to affect that. So basically, if we look at the causes, these are toxins, and in generally we find toxins are cause of many of the chronic conditions, especially the nervous system. And also in Ayurveda we call that ama basically translated into toxin. So when it comes to the chronic disease and mental conditions, the toxins play a huge role, and most of the toxins are fat soluble, so they go to places which have more fat, and brain being the pure fat, basically is a place where toxins or fat soluble toxins, especially the neurotoxins, are attracted to. They go there, deposit, and then interfere with our neuron function. So a goal should be to remove that, and then after that, the life should come to balance by itself. It is not uncommon for someone with an anxiety disorder to also suffer from depression or vice versa. It basically are the two ends of the same stick, same rod, same balance. When something is not moving at all, is depression. Too fast, it is anxiety. We need to be in the middle somewhere. Nearly one half of those diagnosed with the depression are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So basically, this is an imbalance, and once the brain or mind becomes imbalanced, then it fluctuates from one end to the other end, and that is where the problem is. So basically, when someone comes with anxiety, they may have depression also, or vice versa. Somebody come with depression, they also may have anxiety. So basically, it's always anxiety and depression goes together. Keeping that in mind, we need to see what can be done. Anxiety and depression during COVID-19. So during late June, 40% of US adults reported struggling with mental health or substance use. And again, you can see that how many of those were mentioned anxiety and depression symptoms. Trauma, stress-related disorder, started increased substance use, seriously considered suicide. So basically, this has become any time there is a situation in life when someone have difficulty handling the situation, instead of fighting, instead of facing it and finding a solution, person gives up. That basically is we know as depression. So at this point, we need to understand what is causing it inside the body, and then how we can make it strong to fight with it. So that's where we bring the Ayurveda in. So Ayurveda is the science of life. We know that more than 6,000 years old system of medicine, which recognizes the uniqueness in all of us, believes in the body's intelligence and the healing power within. Tradition of research, practice, and education has been embedded into the culture and daily routine. So this Ayurveda is on basically every day you find something new, and we keep adding that. A reason we are bringing Ayurveda is because what happens in regular medical system, when someone have a deficiency and for some reason they are not able to cope with the stress, and also either facing the anxiety or depression. On top of that, without looking into their body, without changing their lifestyle, without changing their diet, if we keep adding medicines or more chemicals, then create many other imbalances. So while the person feel little better, and able to handle the co-op, able to handle the situation, but again, it will cause many other problems. So we are trying to face the situation, making sure that at least we do not create any more problem, and support the person by changing the diet and also giving supplements which are healthy, and at least they don't have a side effect. So in this case, person is able to bring life back to normal slowly. So what Ayurveda says, that's the definition: hita hitam sukham dukham ayustasya hita hitam manam jatachiyatroktam. Ayurveda sauchate basically says one which teaches us advantageous, disadvantageous, happy and unhappy state of life, what is good or bad for life, and its measurement is called Ayurveda. So basically, it's a way of living focused on individual and their uniqueness. Original mind, body, spirit, medicine equally conditions all three accepts of the individual. Strong emphasis on prevention and daily promotion of health, works in disease and in health. So basically, Ayurveda is for everyone. Someone who is healthy takes the the guidance from Ayurveda to stay healthy, and someone who is sick, then they will take some guidance and suggestions to bring their health back and regain their lost health. So it's for everyone. So basically, the foundation of Ayurveda is into the five elements when we're looking at the body types: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So in this case, when you look at the five great elements, you look at the space, we look at the air, we look at the fire, we look at the water, and we look at the earth. And combination of these five make the three basic body types we call Vata, which is the combination of the first two, space and air. We have Pitta, which is the combination of the middle two, the fire and the water. And then we have the last two, which is the Kapha, combination of water and earth. So kapha, as is combination of water and earth, makes the structural material, the bones, the ligaments, the fat, what we look like. Whereas the combination of water and fire makes pitta, which is the metabolism, which controls the endocrine system, which means all the hormones, all the enzymes. Whereas that's considered the energy of transformation. Whereas the first one, the vata, is the space and the air. So space and the air, because of air, controls all movements internally and externally. So externally, it controls all the movement as we walk, as we talk, as we blink our eyes. Internally, it controls circulation, the blood, lymph circulation, the motor and sensory pathways, the nervous system. So anxiety and depression is coming under the vata disorder. So as the vata is not moving, as the thought process is not moving, as the some kind of stagnation is in the body, that is causing the depression and anxiety. And that happens because our metabolism, because of our agni, because our internal heat of transformation is not working properly. So keeping Ayurveda in mind, we are trying to find a solution and saying that this is a vata disorder caused by the imbalance of vata. Vata being the energy of movement. Again, we know that when the movement is very slow, we will call it depression. When the movement is very fast, we call it anxiety. When the movement is normal, then is a normal human being without having anxiety or depression, and the brain is working at its own pace, whereas everything is working normally as it should. Vata causes 80% of 80 different kind of diseases in the body, since it is responsible for all the movement, which circulation in the body. Vishma Agni, which is irregular metabolism, can cause aggravated Vata, where Agni goes through a drastic change, causing many abnormalities, including anxiety and depression. So anything which moves inside the body is moved by Vata, we know that. But again, for the proper movement, we have to have that transformation. We have to have that heat. We have to have that fire. And that fire is what is controlling that. And that is the fire of metabolism or fire of different dhatus. So we have roughly 40 different types of pitta, or different types of, Agni. And so each dhatu has its own Agni. So 40 different Agni. So keeping that in mind, the metabolic energy actually is extremely important. So if we have other issues in our digestive system, anything which is bothering our metabolism, anything which is bothering the metabolism or conversion of food, that will also cause depression or anxiety. So keeping that in mind, that will bring us to one thing to think that when we eat something, that food will also affect, causing that, colder food, sluggish food will take us to depression. Warming food, and then few food which are actually high in spices, or foods which may have something which is going to trigger the stimulus, and then we are going to faster pace, that may cause the anxiety. So all the foods which we consume, we need to be thinking what we are eating, but we should eat based on our body type or dosha. Increase of vata in majja dhatu, hyperactive vata in majja dhatu, can cause anxiety and depression. So for that, the vata disorder, or specifically anxiety or depression, becomes really very deep embedded disorder. So if you look at what is majja dhatu, so when we are looking at the several layers of the body, several tissues of the body, majja dhatu comes the number 6. It's very deep out of 7. So So goal here is to balance the vata before it involves more body organs, causing multiple symptom condition. So if you're looking at the majja dhatu, so whatever we consume, the first dhatu in our body is the rasa, which is the body juices or the fluid. And as we know, 70% of body weight is fluid, basically water by nature. And then the extract of the body fluid will nourish the second dhatu, which is the blood. So we have the plasma or body fluid is the first dhatu, second is the blood, and third one will be tissue or the muscle. The fourth one is the fat, fifth one is the bone, and then the bone marrow. So bone marrow actually is majja, and then last one will be genetic material, either sperms or the ovum. So we're looking at the ras, which is the fluid, rakt, which is the blood, mams with the tissue or the muscles, meda, which is the fat, bone, which is the asthi, and then bone marrow will be the majja, and then we'll have the shukr or so basically that will be the last one. Essence of all of these will give us oja, which is the immunity, uh, the strength and the energy to fight against any foreign particles or organism or any disease. So when we're looking at that, what Ayurveda says, whatever we consume every day, it takes 3 to 5 days, roughly 5 days, for the body to extract all the juices out of that food and nourish the body fluids. Again, in 3 to 5 days, depending upon the metabolic energy or the agni of the rasa, then the blood will be sported. So extract of that will become part of the blood. In 3 to 5 days, depending upon the agni and metabolic energy of the blood, the essence of that will nourish the tissues of or the muscles. Depending on the metabolic energy of the tissues or the muscles, in 3 to 5 days, extract of that will nourish the fat, and in 3 to 5 days, the fat will nourish the bone, and 3 to 5 days, bone will nourish the bone marrow or the majja, and after that, the genetic material is formed. So majja being that deep, it means that majja is also something which is making the nervous system, the brain, all the nerves are also made of majja. So the majja dhatu is affected, and again, being the sixth dhatu, it is very deep. So I had to make sure that we have patience, because it's going to take that long for the medicine or the supplement or the therapy to work. And also, by the time we are getting anything into deeper dhatu, it means we have toxicity for a long period of time. Otherwise, first the toxins become part of our body fluid, then they become part of our body blood, then the tissues or the muscles, then the fat, then the bone. So by the time they're going to the sixth layer, it means then we are being exposed to some toxins or ama for a long period of time. And the main source of exposure is either through the work. Someone works at a place where something toxic is being formed, some chemicals are being used, so on the job, or someone lives in a place which could be close to environment where toxins are there, or someone is using food daily basis from the can, or preservatives or chemicals are being used. So some reason has to be there. So it doesn't matter what the reason is, we have to look for the finding a solution and how we will treat that, how we will balance that. So keeping that in mind, we want to make sure that when we're looking at the cause, or when we look at the disease itself, first we look at the environment where we live in. So spending more time with friends, spending more time with others, but more than that, spending more time outdoors in the sun. Many individuals you're finding in the Northeast who are depressed is because of vitamin D deficiency. And the best source of that is basically if you spend a little time in the sun outside, then you'll get many people are sitting at home just watching television all day, or working on the computer, or working on their iPhone. Oh, that's depressing by itself. And then at this point, most of the news is not a great news. So that is also very depressing. So spending time outdoors is really important. Having a pet also is very good, because you get engaged with the pet, family, friends, talking to people. that is very important. But nutrition plays a huge role. So the food you eat has to be a balanced food based on your body type. So if you are a person who is more vata or pitta or kapha, based on that you choose your diet. What is happening that if someone is vata, vata's qualities because of air is dry, is light, rough, and cold. The kapha also because of water and the earth is like a mud, also cold and heavy and sluggish. So these two are cold to begin with. And if these individuals are having a breakfast of cereal and cold milk or cold juice, and that is what happened, what is happening, majority of us are starting our day after 10, 12 hours of fast. We open our fast with a cold breakfast. And many individuals I have known, and many individuals I see every day in my practice, when asked what you eat in the breakfast, majority of them eating cereal or bagel or donut or something like that. And with that is basically either orange juice or apple juice, something cold. And later on in the day, to boost themselves, they will take a big glass of caffeine. But the day starts with something cold, and that is the beginning when you are already slow in the night, in the sleeping cycle, and you wake up, and instead of boosting your energy and metabolism by adding something hot. And why hot is important? So just remember, our body temperature is 98.6 degrees, and that's what God gave us. It means if my body works optimally at that temperature, is not made to work at 40 degree or 30 degree or 50 degrees. It's made to work at 98.2 or 98.6, in between somewhere. When my body temperature drops below 98, it will make this system slow and sluggish. So in that case, when my body is sluggish all the time, and then the body is struggling to come up, and sometime it goes into a hyper mode, and that's what we call the anxiety, because it's fighting against this sluggishness. And so the cold food to begin with, or cold sandwich, or cold cereal, anything cold which is below basically 80 degrees, or there's going to be a problem. Even though when we are feeling hot and we want something cold, what Ayurveda recommends that we should drink something room temperature or eat something room temperature. So not the cold salad which is sitting on the ice or sitting in the refrigerator at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and absolutely nothing frozen, nothing cold. So in this case, majority of the Western population, I'll say our US population, is starting their breakfast with a cold food. And since the body is already struggling to come out of this cold thinking or frozen thoughts and the situation around us, on top of that, if we add something cold to that, that will lead us into a situation where our metabolism will be compromised, because metabolism requires heat. Most of the enzymes, most of the hormones are released at a specific temperature, and they are not released at a very cold temperature, and that's why the body temperature need to be 98 or above. So I see many individuals, basically rarely find anybody who have 98.6 nowadays. Mostly are below 98 and below 97, and there are individuals who have temperature below even 95. And technically, their body at that point is just living and not having optimum metabolism. There's no heat left in the body, even though 95 is still hot. But considering that the metabolism require the release of hormones, they require a very specific temperature. There's only 2 or 3 degrees window, and if it's less than that, it's not going to be released. So keeping that in mind, make sure we start our day with warming food, warming thoughts, energy when you go for a walk, sweat, that is very important. If you can jog a little bit, that is good. So starting with that one, and then eventually we want to make sure certain herbs should be a part of our food to provide us heat, to improve our metabolism. Even though we are not big in the drugs or so, but sometimes you do require those. And we have extracts of the botanicals which are plant-based, easily absorbed by the body. We can use those, but goal here is to make you aware of the situation, and then you yourself can take care of it by adding certain things in your diet and changing your lifestyle. What Ayurveda says that the first thing you should do to treat yourself, or any doctor should do to treat you, is to change your diet, because many things which could be coming to your body from your food should come through food. Don't try to find a supplementation for that. When some, again, in some cases, when your metabolism is not optimum and you are not able to absorb properly, then we give you supplements which are easily absorbable. But during that time, we should be able to treat your gut, treat your lining of the gut mucous membrane. And if someone have inflammation, then make sure we treat that so your body is able to absorb those. So goal should be to make sure that you are able to absorb everything properly, without just putting all the supplementation and the drugs into the system. Second thing is the vihar. So first is ahar. Ahar means the diet or the food. Vihar means the lifestyle. Like I said before, going for a walk, talking to a friend, spending time outdoors, spending time with the pet. Very, very important. And then at the end, we like to choose the supplementation. So treatment recognize health complaints related to anxiety and depression, nutrient deficiencies, micronutrients such as vitamin D, B12, and iron are important. Identify environmental, behavioral, lifestyle factors which are important. Look at the diet, exercise, and lifestyle. These are important. So exercise, I just talked about that one. So the lifestyle is very important, where you are able to go for a walk, exercise, something to create happiness, something to create activity, something to boost your energy inside. The In medications we have botanicals. Passiflora is really good to boost. Ziziphus, valerian, it's root, valerian root all the time. Ashwagandha is considered one of the best actually adaptogen in Ayurveda to for the anxiety and depression. For both of them is balancer. Brahmi is a brain tonic, used commonly if someone have a situation where they feel depressed, and or feel anxious. But mostly we use, and Brahmi is used in depression, because the person feels slow, person feels low, person feels weak mentally and physically. And also mint and the chamomile tea is also used. Spices, turmeric is used very commonly nowadays. Again, basically the golden milk looks like is gaining popularity. But with the treatment of depression and anxiety, not only we are using turmeric as in just in the spice, but also we can take that as a golden milk. The beauty of golden milk is most of the time this has regular milk or almond milk. And I'm talking about this because, like I said before, most of the fat soluble things will go to places which have more fat. Adipose layer, the brain, all the glands, and also the joints. So now with the combination of turmeric combining with the fat in the milk, raw milk or whole milk or almond milk, so that becomes a carrier, carrying it to the nervous system, nourishing the nervous system. So with that, this is anti-inflammatory, and not only is good for generally as a inflammation, but also it was going to nourish. And with that, if we put saffron, so we have a golden milk with turmeric, maybe 1 cup of milk boiled with one half spoon of turmeric, teaspoon of turmeric, and about 5 to 6 fibers of saffron, a pinch of dry ginger powder, a pinch of black pepper. And if you want to add 4 or 5 crushed almonds and 1 chopped date, that becomes a very tasty golden milk. So not only is tasty and nourishing, but again, because of the turmeric and because of the fat and because of the saffron, it becomes basically a mood booster. And if somebody is depressed, will feel really good about that. And also because of the fat, it will also calming. Date and the milk, fat and the milk and the date are very calming. And as the individual, if somebody is anxious, that will give them a calming effect. So it's a neutralizer. But again, anybody who is depressed, even the heat of the hot milk will make them, basically feel them their energy is boosted and they feel more energetic. They want to do things. Ginger is good for circulation, so very important to use, and use for both, but mostly for the depression. cumin seeds are for both. So many of these actually are part of the Ayurvedic cooking or Ayurvedic kitchen. Just because these are daily, if you take them on daily basis, then there's no reason we become or we feel depressed or anxious. Coriander is very calming. The black pepper is not that hot. It's so basically is spicy, but cooling effect. The after effect of the black pepper is cooling, so that is really calming for the brain. Clove are really good for circulation, basically antiseptic, antibiotic, and also they are really good for any kind of bacterial infection or parasitic infection, fungus, for example. So using those in our daily routine as a part of the diet will also be supporting us in this daily journey. So when we look at the lifestyle change, basically I mentioned some of these before. Spending time with friends, spending time with family, and choose the friends who are uplifting, who are, even though everybody has some kind of stress, but not to think that is not worth it. There is some stress in the life when we are here. There's no, I don't think there's anybody who do not have any stress. So everyone has some kind of stress. It is up to us how we take that stress. This is like a daily routine. We have to handle it. We have to resolve the issues. We have to solve the problem, and we have to face it. So if the good times pass, the bad times also will pass. So time, one good quality of time is it does not stand still. It keeps moving. So if the, and every second, every fraction of second is changing. So what was a minute before is not the same situation. Things have changed, even outside. You go there outside, and after 5 minutes, sun is going down, it's getting darker, things are changing, it's getting calmer. So every moment things change. And same thing is if you believe in the power of nature and believing that if the good time have passed, the bad time will pass also. So makes you're the biggest counselor for an individual is himself or herself. If we understand and trust in the nature and then trust in ourselves and work hard, then there is no reason we should be depressed or should be anxious about any condition. Those will also change, but we have to stay calm. What I found in both anxiety or depression, taking deep breaths are very important. So our brain uses oxygen continuously. So when that happens during anxiety or depression, sometimes we are not, especially during depression, we are not breathing normally. During anxiety, we are breathing so fast. In both cases, the absorption of oxygen is not optimum, and we are lacking oxygen. And for that, the pranayama or deep breathing is extremely important. So let's go over the list. Talk to a friend. So talking to a close friend, if you have any problem, share with them. And if you find that you don't have a friend, you are new in the town, then make sure you get a pet and talk to your pet, tell him or her everything. I can bet you they will not share that with anybody else. And if you don't have a pet, then go in front of the mirror and the person you see across, tell him or her everything. And if you still don't have that, then you have a few pages of paper, then you talk to your diary and write everything. But take it out of your mind. If you take it inside or you keep it inside, it keeps spinning like a broken record and creates more and more and more problem. You keep going deeper and deeper into depression or anxiety. So again, make sure you share this with someone, living or non-living. Could be somebody who can talk to you, who can give you suggestions, like a close friend or a close family member. If not, a animal, a dog and cat, anything you have, so share with them. But of course, they will not give suggestion, but they will show their sympathy completely, and they will feel like make you feel like they understand everything. And if not, then you find a mirror. Otherwise, you discuss everything with your daddy. You're right there, or just sit outside. You're talking to birds, but take it out of your system. If you are keeping inside and you're going to bed with it, of course, not only you are not feeling healthy, you cannot sleep, because during your sleep you are dreaming about the same situation. So I always tell my patient, before going to bed, you must take 10 deep breaths. And when you are taking deep breaths, you follow your breath. It means you follow the air as it is coming from the environment, going through your nostrils, from your nose going to your lungs, from lungs going to your heart, from heart it is going through the blood vessels, from the upper limb and lower limb going to the entire body. And so as you follow that, you are detaching from your thought process. You basically are following the air or the prana or the life force inside you as it is penetrating and traveling through your body. So if you take few deep breaths like that, I tell my patient by the 10th breath, I can guarantee you, you will be going to sleep. In my experience, what I've felt, most of patients will report back to me, Dr. Kaushik, we have not taken full 10 breaths. By the time we were taking fifth, sixth breath, we start feeling sleepy. And after that, we do not know what happened. But you need to be completely detached. If you're laying in the bed and you are thinking about what you have done today, and you are planning what to do tomorrow, and you are worried about something, stressing about something, making plans while you are trying to sleep, then it is not a sleep. You are already preoccupied with the thought process, and you will be dreaming about the same situation even during sleep. And you wake up tired, exhausted, because all night you were tossing and turning, thinking about the situation which you discussed last night. So what Ayurveda says, when you go to bed, then at that time you should be completely detached with everything. And that is the reason we tell, as you're sliding into the bed, you start taking a long, deep breath and exhale very slowly, and you follow your breath. Second breath, third breath, and by the fifth or sixth breath, you will be completely detached and you will be sleeping, and you will have a good night's sleep, because by the time you are sleeping, you have taken long deep breath and you have good amount of oxygen absorbed by your lungs, and that gives you a calm sleep without disruption. So, so pranayama is important. Even in the morning, it is important, as we are doing the sun salute, evening when we're doing yoga or tai chi or anything you're doing, but make sure the deep breathing, which is the only source of absorption of the prana, the life force, the chi, the oxygen. Since this is the only organ that is this Ayurveda plays emphasis on this one. So first priority is always digestive system, because that is the organ. So our lungs, heart, kidneys, brain do not eat. They are getting food or nutrients, what is absorbed by your digestive system. So the first priority is the digestive tract. Want to make sure the mucous membrane is intact. We want to make sure there is no inflammation. We want to make sure there is no irritability or irritable bowel syndrome, no ulcerative colitis. So there is no inflammation and overgrowth of bacteria. So SIBO is becoming a common thing nowadays. Everybody thinks that this is something new. No, the overgrowth of bacteria was always there in case of dysbiosis. So we're trying to see in the inflammatory bowel disease, the absorption is not optimum. Does not matter what the cause of inflammation is. We need to remove the cause and treat the condition and cure it. And after that, the second source is the oxygen or the prana. So then we look at the lungs, and this, since lungs are the only source of absorbing oxygen normally when we are inhaling, we want to make sure lungs are healthy. There's no calcification. There is no issue with the disease. A person does not have any lung issues, any bronchitis or anything else. Or any asthma or any other inflammatory disease in the past. So keeping that in mind, we want to make sure we support the healthy gut and healthy lungs, and because that is the only source of oxygen or the life force. And also, laughing loud is really important. Some people are so serious, they take everything internally. Not only they don't share, but they don't have enjoyment, don't have fun. So laughing, even though when we make a mistake, and you make a mistake, I make a mistake, we should be able to learn to laugh at ourselves. How stupid I can be. This, I made a mistake. So life is serious, but not serious than life itself, which means the most important thing in life is life itself. And when life is there, the second important thing is the health. And to maintain that, this is the only thing important. Everything else is not important. We lost few $1 in the investment or stock market. People go and stress about that, and there have been cases where people lost a lot of money and then they commit suicide. Not a I mean, as long as we're living, we can make more, but when you're dead, you can't make anything. even the life is not there. So laugh it off, not take it too seriously. Don't waste life, but not take it too seriously. Green tea is really good for calming. So many of these things are not directly for anxiety or depression. Anxiety and depression could be because of the upset stomach. Somebody is sick for a long period of time, and because of the chronic disease, they're becoming depressed. When somebody is not able to breathe, so that the feeling of not having enough oxygen make the person anxious. So when the person is anxious, they just hyperventilate, then they are losing even more oxygen in the blood, because now the heart does not have enough time to fill the chambers. So it's pumping empty. So many times it's happened because of the situation. So that time we tell the person, calm down, calm down, calm down. Take a deep breath, take a deep, so we work with the person. So we hold it, take a long deep breath. So tell the person, take a long deep breath, go slow, exhale slowly. And you will see, if we are teaching the individual, we are helping the individual, we are taking a long deep breath with the individual, other individual will respond. But once we understand that we feel depressed or anxious, the deep breathing will help 100%. So in that situation, we should stop thinking, take few deep breaths, and then get up and walk a little bit, and then start working. So if you're working on the computer all day, and then you're there and so what is this? I'm just sitting there all day, and then just immediately stop the work, take few deep breaths, minute or 2 minutes, walk around, then come back and start again. Maybe we want to take a few sips of hot water or warm water or a ginger tea. And if you are a female, then may add ginger tea plus a little bit of mint. Mint really good, works very, very nice with the hormones. So in that case, ginger tea, ginger with mint. And so you can create a little combination. If you have upset stomach, you may want to put cumin seed. Or if you are looking for something to boost your energy, you may want to add a little bit of saffron, or if you are a turmeric person, you add turmeric, but the turmeric you must add a little bit of black pepper, because turmeric, it will not be absorbed without black pepper or bromelain or some fat. That's why we use the milk or ghee. So there are different kind of things available right now. So at this point, when there are COVID going around, we actually make something called immunity tea. Immunity tea, we have cardamom, we have ginger, we have tulsi, the holy basil, we have a little bit of black pepper, we have ajwain, because a lot of people have gut issues. So we combine all these things and create a tea, and we keep drinking that all day, and also offer to patients who come to the clinic. We want to make sure everybody stays healthy. So those things are important. Eat right. Again, like I mentioned before, should eat based on your body type. If somebody is pitta, because I talked about vata and kapha, pitta generally are hot. It means they're made to work with that heat. And if this person who is built to work under heat, and all the organs are put together to work under heat with the pitta condition, and they start putting ice cream in their body, then they're suppressing it. So when your machine is working optimally, why you want to put something? So you're trying to put kerosene in a car which is supposed to run on a very clean gasoline. And when you put kerosene oil, of course, it will get rusted and will not work. So slowly, your body is built to last for a long period of time. 120 years to 150 years, some research says. But again, there are very few people, rarely somebody you find into after 100. Again, we see many immature deaths when people are dying with the heart attack or stroke in 50s, and cancer in their 30s and 40s. We see that. Keeping that in mind, we need to make sure we do everything possible to make this body healthy. But again, this is a gift. So never get depressed, because life is wonderful, and then don't get so anxious, because we're not here forever. So believe me, we'll be living one day. So just enjoy every day. And like I said, if the good time have passed, the bad time will pass too. Eat right, so enjoy that. And not eat because you are here to eat only. We eat just to live. So enough just to nourish this body. And when we are nourishing the body, the importance of body comes first, not your taste bud. So something you like, if you like sweet, that is your taste bud liking sweet. If your body does not like that, for example, you eat something sluggish and sweet, and you feel slow and sluggish after that, your body doesn't like it. So then you need to switch that to what your body likes. So if you eat right according to your body type or dosha or body constitution, That is what you need. So if you are vata and kapha, you eat opposite food. You eat food which are warming by nature. So you choose the pitta diet, warming, penetrating, something not too heavy, not too cold, something which must have some oil. So I recommend ghee for all three body types. If you are pitta, then you have something which is warm, not too hot. But here the hot and warm have different meaning. So basically the effect of the food after absorption. So vata and kapha should eat food which are warming by nature after absorption. So for example, milk and milk product are warming. The peppers, all the spices we mentioned before, they're all warming, especially when we're looking at the cinnamon, we're looking at the turmeric, we're looking at the cumin seed, we're looking at the ajwain seed, we're looking at the saffron, they're all warming. So when it comes to the pitta and we're looking for something cooling, then we use coriander, we use mint, we use the yogurt. So these are calming thing. And again, if you like spicy, then instead of using red pepper, which is warming, we use the black pepper, which is spicy but calming and also cooling. So in this case, we are not looking at the temperature. We're looking at something we call in Ayurveda vipaka, which means the effect after absorption. And that's how we choose. That's why the importance of knowing the philosophy of Ayurveda, the principle of Ayurveda, which is made for everyone, for healthy and unhealthy. And for that reason, we actually started classes a few years ago, which are running nicely. If somebody wants to learn, we offer certification courses in Ayurvedic health counselor and also Ayurvedic health practitioner, and both classes are running great. And then graduates are actually helping many other people. But they're there just to help or those who want to learn for themselves first and their families, and eventually may want to make it their career. But knowing is understanding some, and that's why we offer these lectures through the library. And it's so nice of the libraries to do that, because that's how we learn. And so make sure you understand that part. And so you're eating not because it is tasty, you're eating because it is good for your body, to nourish the body. Other thing is you're eating based on the body type. If you're cold, you eat warming food. If you're warm, if your body's temperature is hot all the time, still don't eat cold. You eat the food which is going to provide you cooling at the end. So for example, for if you're looking at the watermelon, cucumber, all, these are cooling food. Cantaloupe, cooling food. But these are coolings. It means you don't have to put them in refrigerator. Don't freeze them. There should be room temperature, and eat them because they have large amount of water inside and they're cooling. After effect will be cooling. You don't have to put in the refrigerator. So refrigerator and microwaves are the two worst enemies of the human health. So, and if somebody is looking for something warming, then there are a lot of warming. All these, basically all the beans are all warming. So you take different beans. Some of the rice are warming. The buckwheat is warming. Millet is warming. So you use certain grains and certain food to get that heat, and make sure you use ghee all the time. uh, Talk yourself through it. So basically resolve the problem by thinking that what I should do, what other people should have done in this situation, and maybe look for guidance always. Is never is not a bad thing to ask for opinion. If I have say problem and I know that this is something many people are going through, it's not a wrong thing, not a bad thing to call somebody. Listen, this is the problem. I know you might be going through it, but I need help. And so asking for help is not a bad thing. Be mindful, be good, do good. So basically not to do anything, because that will haunt us always, because I've done something wrong. So why go through that route? Have a sustained purpose of life beyond one's self. I always talk about this one. We are sent here for a purpose, and coming here, going to school, getting a job, and after that, basically going to work and making money and eating and going to sleep is not the only purpose. We are here for some other reason, some dharma we call that. And find out, and when you spend time with yourself during meditation, the thought process as it goes through will tell you why you are here. Doing certain things make you so happy. It means that is the way that you get happiness, and do it more and more and more. So find some ways where you can help others. At this point, there are a lot of people struggling through COVID. If something you can do for somebody, do it. Many communities need help. Many people are sick, and they need our help. do something for them. Nature outside, or even helping birds, putting some grain and some water, leftover bread outside is going to be helpful. Whatever you can do beyond your own thing will be helpful. Exercise, yoga, always great because that moves the energy, moves the chi. Yoga, forward bending into left, that's always a good pose. Bend the hips so your weight is not being carried on your back. Downward facing dog position, relaxing. Spend time with your pet. Right? So basically, that is a good thing. They are really relaxing and they pay full attention, and maybe go for a walk with them. Tell them the story and all your problem, whatever you're going through at work, at home, with anybody you have problem with. Tell your dog or cat, and they will not tell anybody, and they will give you a good solution by just looking at you. Supplements, generally we're looking at the herb. Complex is a good supplement. Complex is a combination of few herbs. We found really good results with those, especially COVID started in March, and so first few weeks everybody enjoyed staying home, and some people says we're looking for a vacation, so now children are home and we're loving it. After 2 weeks, people start calling, say, yeah, something for anxiety. I'm feeling so anxious, and then eventually got into depression. But complex helped in both situation. We give this capsule form, and all these capsules we have here basically are in the form of veggie capsule. We do not recommend gelatin. Withania plex is a liquid, and basically is kind of a very calming decoction. Withania, as you know, is probably the best known and basically an adaptogen. It helps your body adapt to the changes in your life, in your age, in your situation, circumstances, work. So Withania plex is always good for everybody. Brahmi, again, is a great brain tonic. Shankpushpi is cooling. So somebody who is a Pitta and needs some cooling, brain cooling thing, Shankpushpi is really good. So Brahmi and Shankpushpi actually are really good uh, tonics, which you call the brain tonics, to support your nervous system. Heparitone is because of emotions, like we said, somebody who's going through depression, anxiety emotionally, and so heparitone will be helping the liver. So liver is the organ which handles emotion and frustration. Bacopa clarity plex is again with a combination of many herbs, including Brahmi and Shankpushpi and Withania. This is a combination which really helps into calming the anxiety. Bringraj again is for nervous system, and basically it is for liver. So it's a liver supporter, and by doing so, many people think it is for hair, also hair growth, or also for nails. So it basically hair extension, all this extension of the skin, hair, nails are supported by the liver. So Bringraj is really good for the liver health. Mint and chamomile tea is calming. So mint also helps in the hormones. Haritki is really good for the digestive system. Lithium, as you know, we like to give very small amount, 0.05 gram for someone who really need, again, otherwise our brain should be producing that, not for some reason. And so we give very small amount. Magnesium is very calming because of relaxing. It relaxes the tissues and soft tissues. So you can take magnesium 400 to 800 milligram once or twice a day, or you can have buckwheat. So buckwheat has a lot of magnesium, or you can take beetroot, has a lot of magnesium and also a lot of fiber. Calcium is always important, and there are individuals who were depressed because of calcium deficiency, so very important. Vitamin B6 is also very important. So keeping in the mind, we should be able to do something to find one of these to support our system. Shirodhara is a oil treatment when the stream of oil falls on our third eye, and that's the place for pineal gland. And supporting the pineal gland, we are supporting pituitary gland, which is the master gland. And by doing so, we are trying to maintain and calm the entire endocrine system. So Shirdhara is very good. So I've seen many people who are going through anxiety and depression, they will come just for Shirdhara therapy, very calming. And people who have difficulty going to sleep, insomnia in somebody who's such a big problem when they come for Shirdhara. Somebody claims I have not slept for weeks and weeks and weeks, and within 10-15 minutes of Shirdhara, we see them snoring. So it does work. Of course, meditation, calming the mind. Yoga is always, chanting is always good thing. So basically, you surrender yourself to Almighty God, and they're everywhere. God is everywhere, and you don't have to think of any proper name or a form or shape. Whoever is the creator, he created all of us. So just chant his name in your own fashion, in your own way, quietly, loudly. And of course, the Abhyanga. Abhyanga is the application of oil on your body. The purpose is to give medicine or herbs mixing with the oil to your body through skin, because skin only absorbs fat. And so in that case, not only you are improving circulation by massaging yourself, but also you're giving yourself herbs. And also with that one, you are increasing heat and circulation in your body. So using those, doesn't matter what it takes, everything needs to be done to bring this body to normal, to bring this body to a working condition where you enjoy life and enjoy life, and life enjoys you also. So with that, I will stop here. And this is came for a long time. I decided to be happy because this improves my health. And again, this is very important. And thank you very much for that. Any questions? I'm here.
Thank you, doctor. That was very informative. Do we have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask questions. You probably better to keep your video turned off because we are recording it if you don't want to show your face. Hi, Kika, do you have a question? You pop up. You muted. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you for giving me great information. I'm so happy to hear your great information. Now I couldn't do depression because Harrison Library program is so useful to maintain healthy life. So I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Any questions? Doctor, I have a question. All the treatments that you mentioned in your presentation, while you were explaining, I Googled it, some of them available on Amazon. What's the best way to purchase them, to find them and make sure that they are legit?
Well, with the Google, there's so many things available, and we are finding that anybody can produce anything. So we like to go over few things that you choose from good quality source, someone you can trust, and someone who knows what they're doing. So in my own practice, I use few products. The company which I know and I worked with them and I know the source, I use Shirisai Nutrients, which is not available on the Amazon or those. Is only supplying to trained practitioners. I use Vedic nutrients. Also, if you look at the um, Ayush herbs, they're also good product. So I use Vedic nutrients, I use Shirisai nutrients, I use Ayush products. Ayush also makes good. And then also Benin Botanical will come next. They're also good products. Maharishi Ayurveda also made good products. So these 4 or 5 places I'll find they make good Ayurvedic products. When it comes to the naturopathic, then there are few more. I will find basically integrated therapeutics. I find pure and encapsulation. I find vital nutrients. So Thorn research. So there are few more, but you should also look for something which is somebody which is making a professional quality products, not cheap. So what happens? People look for cheap stuff, and that's what they find. And if you remember, a few years ago, there were some incidents when the Attorney General raided the Walmart and Target and found that all these nutrition supplements they were selling, especially capsules in bottles, they were very cheap. but again, there was nothing but sand. And so there were sand capsules. So you don't want to look for something from a source which is not. So those are not the stores where you look for nutritional supplement. Even though at this point, since they are becoming popular, everybody is jumping into selling nutrition. So look for a source or talk to somebody who you can trust, and then see what they will recommend.
I have a question.
Mhm.
First, I was unable to start the call right away, and I was wondering if you, by any chance, are going to send the information by email. I know that it was recorded. I just don't know if the information will be sent to us by email.
I think library records that. So
Yeah, it will be posted on our website. We have YouTube channels, so in a couple of days it will be available on our YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you.
Can we get a notification that it's available?
Sure, I can send email and notify that it's available, but usually it's within 2 days on YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Just want to thank you. The doctor is always informative. I enjoyed these lectures very much. And is there any way we can get a copy of a PowerPoint presentation?
yeah, this is recorded. So the library has the entire information, and I think library will announce there are many more talks to come. And thank you very much for coming and listening and sharing with us. And any question you have or any comment you have, either you convey to the library or you can send me directly. And basically, we love to share, and this is all about knowing and learning for all of us to be happy and healthy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.